started last hour, we want a way to add uses to objects. And the one use we want for our sword is for it to be equipped or de-equipped. And then we want to be able to call that use on a click. So maybe our sword is going to be clickable, and then when we click it, it's going to equip it or de-equip it. But we're interjecting this usable thing in the middle because with that layer of abstraction, we can do some cool stuff with inventories once we've thought that through. I'm going to start with the is usable and then see how far we get, okay? Right. So if we're going to have something that's usable, we're going to need a mix-in. What are we going to need? Is usable. So we're going to have something that's usable. What's going to be usable? Our fireball? No. Where's our sword? There it is. What is that? Fireball? Get away. Alright, so we're going to have a usable sword. There, it's usable. This touchable stuff, I don't even think we need touchable right now. I'll get rid of that in a second. I'll jump into mono. Let's implement some usability. Is usable is not a mon behavior, it is a mixin. So we changed that. Did we change mixin to capital M for name? Yes, we did, so that's good. Doesn't collide with gameObject.name. Usable, we're going to need a set of callbacks to call when we use it. And we're going to call these the what? Actually, we'll just say is usable describes a generic object aspect that can be used on some event. I know, sounds like blah blah blah, but it'll make a lot of sense here. Public list what? String. We're going to call this the onUse CBs. Do we decide on capital O or lowercase o for our onUse and our onTrigger callbacks? I forget what. Should it be capital or lowercase for our case? All right, we'll go for capital. And we're going to implement a method called use because that's what it means to use something. So some other aspect can say can dispatch our use event. But that other aspect doesn't need to know or care what it means to use it. All it knows is that we want to use something by name. Okay? So we do our usual for each. For each. If s not equal to. Something like that, right? Starting to look familiar? It should. Okay, just for debugging purposes, I'm going to add a use me. And I'm going to implement is usable update. And I'm going to call is usable update inside my update because we never put code directly in our update loop. Even today, even though we're doing this mix-in stuff, we still remember our lessons from last term. If use me is true, I'm going to use my object, and I'm going to set use me to false. So I just got a little debug tool for testing. Okay. Does that make sense? Why we're doing that in there? So I don't need to have the click working to test that this component works. I can implement usable right away. I can. Control-Shift+ is how I do that. That's as big. I cannot. That's as big as I can get it. Go to the stream and double the res. Use Windows magnifying if you want. Okay?
So you implemented use me at the top?
Use me as a bool.
There we go.
So it defaults to false. So if I set it to true, it's just a little switch. Lets me call my use method. Okay?
Wait, go all the way down for a second. Sorry.
Just a method that checks use me. Okay? All right. I'll give you a sec to catch up. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So in practice, what are we going to do? What do we know we want this thing to do? this sword is going to do what? Yeah, so we're going to call this, so it needs to be an equipable object. The object's not going to be equipable on touch, so we're just going to get rid of that touch event. If we actually walk into it, we're not going to care anymore. We could keep both on if we wanted to, but we're choosing not to. We are going to equip or dequip. What does our equipable look like? Did we implement dequip? We did not. We implemented equip slot, and we implemented insert. So we need to implement this. We're also going to need another method, right? Because I'm going to let the mix in decide if this thing needs to be equipped or dequipped. That's what it means, right? When we use this object, if it's equipped, we want it to dequip. If we use this object and it's dequipped, we want it to equip. Right? If this object is equipped, dequip it. If this object is dequipped, equip it. Cool. Is equipped. How do we know if something actually is equipped? Check all slots on the recipient. If obj equals this game object, then it is found. Else it is not. Agreed? So let's do that. There's probably something, once we've implemented toggle and dequip, we'll probably see there's a lot we could do. Maybe we could refactor this equip slot stuff. But there's some work here that we need to do. We're going to need the recipient, we're going to need all the equipment slots, and we're going to have to iterate over all the slots, and we're going to have to check the object. Agreed? Yep. Okay. We'll get our recipient, we'll get the slots. If they're not empty, we'll check the types. Do we care about the types? What are we trying to check when we check the slot? If it's empty or not. In fact, maybe not so much that if it's empty or not, but if the object is equal to the object, this current object. If we find this current object in any slot, that means this object was in a slot and it is equipped. Because the object doesn't have it doesn't record its state if it's equipped or not. So we're looking to see if we find it somewhere. So how do we check that? We check if this game object is actually that reference, because that would mean they are the same literal object reference. If the item game object is literally in the OBJ slot, then the object is equipped. And if we find that, that means that is equipped. It's true. Right? If we actually find the game object in that slot, that means the item is equipped. Okay, we assume it's not equipped, but if after looping through all equipped slots, if we find it, we know it is equipped. Agreed? So now either equip or dequip as necessary. If is equipped, what do we do? Why is that red? There we go. If it's equipped, dequip it. If it's not, equip it. And we already have equip. We just don't have dequip. How do we implement dequip?
You take the game object and
we gotta do a lot of stuff, right? We gotta find the slot that it's in, set its transform parent to null, set the slot's object reference to null, and then put the game object on the ground in front of us, because we want to drop it in front of us. So we gotta do 4 things. Set find object in a slot, set object transform parent to null, set slot to null, drop object on the ground in front of the recipient. Let's do that. Again, we'll need the same stuff. We need to check our recipient for slots, look over all slots. If we find this object in a slot, that's where we're going to do the work. What work are we doing? Set object transform parent to null. What's that mean? Mm-hmm. Exactly. What else? Set slot to null and then drop. Where's the slot? And then drop it. This is the game object transform. Well, this game object transform is the game object's root by definition. We do want to set its position.
Isn't this game object transform the like the hand position?
It's the object at the root of the interactable object, which is like the handle of the sword.
Oh.
So if we set that position, then the rest, all the other objects in the hierarchy of the weapon will move with it. This is the position of the object. So this game object transforms position is equal to what? V drop pause. Right? What's the drop position? It's the hero's position plus some multiple of his forward vector. Plus maybe a random thing. Forget the random thing for now. We'll just put it in front of some number of units, okay? Yes is the slot game object. We want to drop it in front of the hero. We could drop it in front of the hand, depending what the hand's doing. He would literally be like a, maybe it would fall down due to gravity. I just want to place it on the ground.
Can't you do
I could, but if it's a hand, if it's a sword in the hand slot, IES.game object is the hand's position up in the sky. So dropping it will drop the item in the sky, which we could do, and then it would fall to the ground.
No, but I mean, what I meant is that you can take the hand and then find its parent kind of thing.
Oh, we could do IES.game object.transform.root. We could do that, and as long as there's no other game object that the hero is a parent is a child of, which sometimes we do when we do multiple scene files as a way of managing data.
Possibly.
Or maybe he's in a vehicle, or maybe he's standing on something, and maybe he's like anchored to grounded on something. But what we do know that we have the game object.
Yeah, why don't you just do that?
We have the game object. We have the hero. We have the recipient.
Oh, yeah, it's
Oh, the recipient.
Right? Recip. The recipient is the hero,
True.
which is a game object. Dot transform. Dot position. Plus recipient. Dot transform. Dot forward. Times whatever drop distance, right? V drop pause, but drop distance. I'm just gonna say like public flow drop dist equals some flow, right? Drop dist will be like 2 or 3 units. We'll set that in the editor. 3.0-ish. And that's the definition of V drop pause. And we're setting that to the new position of the object. And once we've done that, we can break and we're done.
Drop distance is a float?
Drop dist, yes.
I missed the thing after drop this.
Just give me a sec. I'll circle right back to it. Usable. We're saying we're going to call toggle dist, right? or toggle equip. That's our use. And our equipable is there. Okay. There should be a drop distance. We're gonna say that's like 3. If that's our dude, we need to change his turn speed, 'cause that's really slow. Why is that so slow? No, we're just gonna click. No, we're gonna. What did we say for use? What did we say for use? We forgot something. We forgot something, didn't we? What did we forget? We're missing something important. We're gonna do the click next, but without that, there's a piece of information that's missing. Callback we set to toggle equip on the sword. But if I click my use me boolean to toggle equip, is this gonna fail? Odds this failing, 100%. Did it equip?
Didn't you put, well,
We're not telling who the recipient is.
We forgot to do that, didn't we?
That would have been done in the clickable class, but we haven't done that yet.
Is this even calling this? We should be able to test it just by toggling the usable. So if we go back and say use me, there we go. S is toggle equip, so that should get us into our is equipable, which will get us into our toggle equip. So we'll set a breakpoint in here. We will continue. So here we are here in toggle equip, which got called from toggle equip, which got called from the usable use, from usable update, from usable. Function F10, equipable is false, get the recipient. Recipient is null. If recipient is not null, do a bunch of work. If recipient is not null. So now we're gonna try and equip it. Get the recipient is not null. Oh, recipient is null. Nothing worked. It just silently failed everything. It just silently failed everything. Why did it silently fail everything? We forgot to do that recipient. We need to do that. So do we need to do that clickable thing? Let's make it clickable. Did anybody get that working? Alright, what do we do? Let's make this a clickable sword.
Copy paste from is touchable first, I guess.
Oh, I'm gonna make a new script. I'm gonna say is clickable.
That's what I did.
Alright. So here's our clickable. Let's mix in. What does it mean? It's not going to be clickable. What does it do when it receives a click? Does he have like some on click callbacks maybe? Yeah. And then do implement. Right. We'll call this the user. And what's our method that is clickable implements?
On mouse down, not on mouse down.
On mouse down.
That one.
Okay.
And then you can fill in like your is consumable, is meant modifier, is equipable.
propagate the recipient, right? So we know we're setting this for equipable, so let's do that. We need to refactor that soon. Okay, so we set the recipient, then what?
For each.
Then we do our for each.
For the students
Like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Like that. Unclick CVs. That's what I have, right? No.
CV.
Capital B or lowercase b?
Capital.
Alright, capital. Let's do that.
Do you want to put the debug message I was clicked or no?
Sure. Something like that. Sure. So that'll set our equipable recipient, and then we'll dispatch to the recipient, and we should be able to do the toggle. I like it.
Actually, as a side question, is it okay if we just delete the start and update if we never use them, just for like
Sure.
cleanliness sake?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Doesn't change anything. Doesn't make your code faster.
Well, I know, but just
Makes your bytecode smaller, maybe. Sure.
aesthetics.
Sure. How's it this working? Let's see. Boom. That didn't work. Let's try it here. Boom. Oh. Is it working? I'm not getting any console. I'm not getting any console messages. Oh no. Oh noes.
Is the clicking not working?
The clicking is not working.
Because in mine, I had this .game object get component is consumable, whatever, and you put user. Is there?
Oh, because my user's null. I forgot to set it. Also, my sword's not clickable. My sword's actually not clickable. Where's mine is clickable?
At the top.
Oh. It's literally not even clickable. And on click, we're going to say do what? Use.
Oh, not equal.
Okay. Boom. There it is. Hope so. Oh, is this working? 50-50. Nope. I'm getting the click message. No such luck. I'll have to debug. Toggle equip, right? We know we're good up until that point. Let's try again. Okay, toggle equip. This sword. Is this sword currently equipped? No, it is not. Recipient is still null. So we didn't set the equipable. So this thing's gonna fail. Why did we not set the equipable correctly? Was there a problem with this? Let's test this. So IES is null. Where's my watch window? Debug windows, watch. My user is hero, which is nice. Get the equipable component. It's null. Is my sword not equipable? Are we doing something wrong here? The equipable component is not on the user, is it? Where's the equipable component?
Has to be on the sword, right?
Right. So we're trying to get the equipable off the user. We don't want to do that. The game object's equipable. The interactive object is equipable. Yeah. Okay. That makes more sense, does it? Alright. Click. There, it's in his hand. See if I can move the camera back down again. I don't know if I can actually get the click event on it. Where's that actual sword though? Let's see if we click it here. There it is. I should be able to send the use from here. And there's your drop. So it went back in the ground again. Click it again. Goes back in his hand. Is there a way we can get the camera way up close to it so that we can see that that works? Like with a height of 5, and a distance of like 1. Click's not working. Do you know why the click's not working? Tricky. We're not getting a mouse down when it's in the hierarchy. Maybe some other colliders are intercepting the click event. Would have to look at that a little bit closely. But we do know that the dequip works, which is good, because we can drop it again. We could test that this is really working. What would be a good stress test? Yeah, let's have like, let's get a bunch of swords going. Sword A, sword B, and sword C. Call the new piece. And we'll keep the white one. Okay. Click the black one, goes into the left hand. Click the white one, goes in his right. That's pretty sweet. So the left went first, right? So now if we go to the right sword and say dequip, I can drop the white, pick up the red. I can go back to his left hand, drop the black, And hopefully the white I can put, oops, I tapped the wrong one. Hopefully I can equip his left with the white. I can't get the white. What's wrong with the white? Go away. Huh, is there something wrong with the white?
Where is it?
Hmm?
Where is it in the hierarchy right now?
The white should be nowhere.
Is that sword B?
That's sword C. But it was already previously equipped and then dequipped. But it first started in the right hand. I was trying to get the white sword into the left hand now. If I could do that, then I would be really confident.
You moved the sword body, you didn't move the sword the entire thing.
Oh, that's the problem. Maybe my test is bogus.
Oh, yeah. With that clutch.
John, dude.
What?
Right.
Oh my god, those swords.
Try the Mondo swords.
Whoa.
Whoa.
The whole sword body, sir.
Boom.
Not strong enough.
He's got two swords.
Not strong enough, sir.
Can I get the touch events? I can't get the touch events when they're in there. We'll figure out why that is. Something going on. But I can decrypt them. Right? No, sword C. There you go.
Sir,
I am convinced that that's working correctly now. We can equip and decrypt one-handed items into any slot we want to.
Is the reason it's defaulting to the left hand is because it's higher in the hero hierarchy? Is that
It's just the first open slot of the matching type that it finds.
which would be the one that's highest in the hierarchy?
Technically, I believe it's the order in which the hierarchy was created, but not actually imported into the engine, which 99.9% of the time will be the order in which you see a hierarchy for a skin mesh, but it may not be the case. It's just the first one that was created when it was imported, which is probably the first one you see up top. Probably. But that's very implementation specific. It's we do a search, we always get it consistently. The first one tends to be that way. I think that's just, we could probably rely on it, but in future versions of Unity that may change. That's a detail I don't know that we could guarantee we rely on.
And like for video games, say that like if we wanted to use this hero, use Diablo as another example.
Sure.
It always defaults to right hand, so like we can make in the scripts just make it go to right hand.
We could have a right hand slot, left hand slot, and then, or we could always say go to the one-handed slot that's right-handed.
Would we write that in our is equipable?
We'd have to look at the design of your game, I think, if you wanted to have specifically left-handed items, right-handed items. Because I've asked you to mirror your animations when you do attacks within the assignment. So the idea of what hand it should go into actually is a little bit up to you, depending how you implement your solution. Okay, but I'm pretty happy with that. Any questions on the usable stuff? 10-minute break, and then we'll do some inventoryable, storageable stuff. All right.